Hello and welcome to another episode of Issuer Update. I'm Dimitri Giller, and joining me today is Robert Dzisiak, President and CEO of King Global Ventures Inc., ticker symbol KING. Robert, welcome.
Thank you very much for having me. Greatly appreciate the opportunity to talk about King.
Great to have you here. Getting started, for listeners new to King Global Ventures, can you give us a quick review of the company's focus and exploration strategy?
Sure. So we went public in July on the CSE. Our main asset is in Arizona. We have 3,800 acres there, 15 former mines, producing mines. We're just an hour north of Phoenix on the I-17 in the Bradshaw Mountains, which is one of the most mineralized mountain ranges in the world. So we're pretty excited to be so close to significant infrastructure in a Tier 1 mining jurisdiction with several high-value targets to go after.
Focusing on your projects in Arizona, it's a highly prospective mining jurisdiction. What led you to concentrate efforts in that region?
There was an opportunity. So King was looking for a project. An old friend of mine from my days when I ran Revco Canada as president asked me to look at his project just north of Phoenix, and I thought it was quite interesting. So we sent a geologist down there, and he was quite excited. So we did a deal and went public. But the key thing for me in picking Arizona, again, a Tier 1 mining jurisdiction, great infrastructure, lots of people around, so easy to get in and out. Also a place where, there's significant mining activity. Arizona is the number 1 copper state in the U.S., and there's lots of opportunity there. So
let's dive into that Black Canyon project. What are some of the key highlights there?
So the Bradshaw Mountains are extremely interesting, the Bradshaw Mountains, Precambrian rock. You had a lot of these black fissures going off, creating these lenses, VMS lenses. So if you go south of us, there's Arizona Metals. They'll be putting out a resource at the end of Q2. But north of us, we've got the Howard Copper Mine on our property that we just finished drilling. And then you've got, the Bluebell Mine, Bingham Canyon, Shylock, and United Verde. Very high producing VMS deposits going all the way up into Utah, Bingham Canyon, which is the biggest hole in the world. So a very mineralized area, lots of opportunity. We've got a significant land package there.
So as you mentioned, the property includes 15 former operating mines. It's over 3,800 acres. What does the historical production tell you about the potential exploration of this project?
So there are 2 different projects. So they're Precambrian projects, the VMSs. There was the Howard Copper Mine, which we purchased last fall, 78 acres of patented land. It was mined during the 20s and early 40s. It took out 100,000 tons of copper, between 3 and 5%. So they high graded it. They had a main shaft down 900 feet, but there were no workings done under the 500-foot level. So we just completed a 2,500 meter drill program where we went under the old workings to see the extension of mineralization. And also there's a highly oxidized cap on top, which has over 5% copper. And so we're waiting for those results. We're also doing metallurgy testing on the cap right now. And we hope to come back and do RC drilling to drill out a resource on that. The other mines, for the most part, are gold and silver mines. Historically, very high grade. For instance, the Golden Turkey took out, an ounce of gold, 20 ounces of silver, and these are all horizontal extensions. And so we think that we found the source, the pipe that fed all this under the Silver Cord mine. So last February, we flew an IP survey, and we found a very, very large anomaly down about 1,200 feet, which we'll be drilling sometime in early June. We also did a VTEM survey last fall, which showed there are 2 major faults marking an X right on the spot under the Silver Cord. And so we're very anxious to drill that off. As I say, we hope to be drilling in June, and potentially it could be a copper porphyry.
Okay. Other than waiting for the results to come in, what are the next steps for advancing these projects?
So we're doing a gravity survey right now. When we flew the VTEM, we found a very strong anomaly going about 1.5 miles. It looks like it has all the workings of a potential VMS deposit. So we're doing a gravity survey on that right now. We're also going back to the Howard doing a gravity survey. We think there actually could be 2 VMS deposits next to each other there. So that's a short-term catalyst in the next week or so. And then we've been working on our drill permits for the Silver Cord. for about a year. We expect to get them this month, and then we've got the cash to start drilling that as soon as we get the permits in place. We have the contracts ready to go for a 2,500-meter drill program, 6 holes on the Silver Court property.
That's great. Thank you, Robert, for providing that detail. Switching gears a little bit, you recently closed a $5.5 million non-brokered private placement. Can you break down the structure of the financing and the key participants?
Yeah, we're pretty fortunate to have a very strong group of insiders, our chairman and directors. Out of the $5.5 million, 3 of our directors and chairman took down $2.5 million of that. And the insiders in total control about 65% of the shares in the company. There were really no broker groups involved. It's all friends and family. For the most part, sophisticated investors in the U.S. that are part of this, looking for a much larger play than a short-term move in the stock. So we've got a very strong group of shareholders, a very tight group, and we have strong access to cash. So as of May 1, we've got $6.3 million in the bank, which is a fair amount of cash for a junior company, and we've got significant targets to draw up.
Great. And can you provide some details on how the proceeds will be allocated going forward? And which
the majority of the proceeds are going to be used towards drilling. So as I said, we'll be drilling the Silver Court property. That'll be about $2.5 million. Then we're going to go back to the Howard mine and RC and drill out what we hope to be a resource later in the fall. And then we're also going to be working on the Iron Horse, which is a very large potential VMS anomaly. And we'll start doing some work on there, potentially drill that later in the fall as well.
Okay, great. Out of these properties, which one would you say is your favorite?
We're pretty lucky to have so many projects. So obviously the VMS are big and take a lot of time. And to have the gold, silver on there, a copper porphyry would be something pretty fantastic to find. So we have 4 very strong projects on the property. And so my favorite will be the one that has the best results. So
it's a great answer. Okay, zooming out a little bit, let's talk about the 2025 outlook. As we move forward through the year, what are some of the key milestones and catalysts investors should watch from King Global Ventures?
Yeah, well, I think in the short term here, the results from our Howard drill program, again, it was 2,500 meters, completed that in mid-April. We expect to have the results from that the latter part of May. So that's a huge catalyst for us, getting those drill results. And then from there, the drill results on the Silver Court mine. And so 2 unique projects. We're very fortunate to have different geology. So the gold and silver is about 30 million years ago, a very unique event compared to the Precambrian rock of 1.2 billion. And there were a lot of analogies for this. United Verde mine, the same, and also at Bingham Canyon. The rocks are very similar, through that whole trend in the Bradshaw Mountains. So there are a lot of catalysts, a lot of great geology. Very fortunate to have so many high potential targets. And given that there are, so many former producing mines were very high grade, that's a lot of, geological work that was done previously that we can take advantage of.
Zooming out even further into the long-term view, what are the key takeaways about King Global Ventures' vision and growth strategy in the 1 to 3 year period?
Yeah, we're very fortunate to have, so many high-value targets. And so we've already finished our maiden drill program on the Howard. We'll be doing the maiden drill program on the Silver Court. From there, the Golden Turkey, which, again, was a very high-grade producing mine, an ounce of gold, 20 ounces of silver. And then we've got the Iron Horse, a very massive potential VMS deposit that we found during our VTEM survey of last fall. And so really it's drilling these projects out to see what's there in the potential. And given that we've got 4 high potential targets, that could take us 3 to 4, 5 years to drill out properly.
That's great. Robert, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much. I love talking about King. I'm welcome to come back anytime, Dimitri.
I think we'll have you back with the drill results next time.
Thank you.
This was Robert Dzisiak, President and CEO of King Global Ventures, ticker symbol KING. For more information, please visit thecse.com. Thank you and take care.